Hi, everybody. Joe Cioffi here. Weather in 5 days and 5 minutes on this Friday, the 1st of March, the beginning of meteorological spring. And it's kind of spring like in the east, and it's kind of winter like in the west as we look at the watches and warnings that are up this morning. Of course, the big storm dropping down from Alaska to the west coast, pulling down cold air, and that's bringing heavy snows to the Cascades as well as to the Sierra Nevadas. We still have blizzard warnings now up for the third day in a row in the Sierra Nevadas, winter storm warnings, Northern California to Southern Oregon. Also in much of Northeast Nevada, we've got some blizzard warnings there. Winter storm warnings up for southeastern Idaho and western Wyoming and points southward up and down the middle part of the state of Utah. Watches up for northwestern Colorado. And in the east, it's just a quiet day. And even in areas across the south where it's raining, we aren't seeing any kind of flood watches or any severe weather to worry about. Got a weak Gulf system there. In the east, the latest shot of cold air has now spent itself out with the high offshore, and we're going to start to see temperatures rebound today, especially with sunshine. The strong March sun should take it up through the 40s to near 50 across eastern Pennsylvania to southern New England. We've got this long, warm front moving through the northern lakes and the northern plains. So temperatures are quite mild to the south, nothing exceptionally warm. And across the south, it's a chilly start to the day with temperatures in the 40s, and at least away from the Gulf Coast, it's going to be a raw, rainy day in that area. And then we look out into the west as low pressure continues to dominate. Here's that storm that's off the coast of the Pacific Northwest and just moving its way very slowly southward, especially in the upper atmosphere. And this is why we're getting this very prolonged event with regards to snow in the mountains there, where it's going to be 5 to 10 feet, which I can't even comprehend. So as we look at the satellite loop, you can see this swirl that is in the lower Mississippi Valley and moisture streaming out ahead in the central and eastern Gulf states and into the southeastern part of the U.S., while the northeast and northern mid-Atlantic states starts the day clear. And I think most of the day today should be fine in the northeast. Maybe late this afternoon, we'll start to see some high clouds coming in, might come in a little sooner than that, but it won't take away from the sunshine. And of course, all this energy that's out in the west that's coming inland. Radars are actually rather loaded through Mississippi and Alabama with areas of moderate to heavy rain, and then they arc back up through Tennessee, going back northwestward into southern Illinois. The northeast and mid-Atlantic are quiet, and the west very busy as far as rainfall and snowfall is concerned. And a lot of moisture here for the next week. The first half of March looks like to start off rather wet in the eastern part of the United States, with today being an exception, of course. Now, over the next 7 days, we're looking at an inch and a half to 2.5 inches of rain for much of southeastern and southern New England, down through the southeast, a big area of several inches from Georgia to Mississippi down to the Gulf Coast, a little bit less when you get down into Florida. And in the west, of course, again, a series of storms. So we're talking several to many inches of melted precip in the mountains, and also up the coast from Northern California all the way up to Washington State, and as well as the Northern Rockies, the Wasatch, and even into parts of the Central Rockies dealing with rain. And as far as snow is concerned, as we take a look, nothing in the east, everything is in the west. Going to put the probability here of at least 8 inches for everybody to see, and you can see it's pretty widespread. This is on top of what's already fallen, so it's just again hard to fathom all the big snows that are going on in the mountains there in the western part of the U.S. So going forward, we've got this Gulf flow in the east as high pressure moves offshore. That moisture moves up. It's going to lead to, I would describe it as a gloom and doom type Saturday. Not that we're going to see a whole lot of rain out of this, anywhere from as little as a quarter of an inch to as much as 3/4 of an inch, less to the north, more to the south. But it does pretty much cover most of the day on Saturday. A low offshore will start to move away, and I think we'll see some improving weather conditions on Sunday, although the onshore flow might slow that improvement down, especially along coastal areas. probably a higher chance inland, and temperatures will be headed up. Now, for Saturday, we're looking at mostly say mid 40s to low 50s with the rain, but Sunday we could be mid 50s to low 60s. Meanwhile, here in the west, you've got that heavy snow spreading through the west and into the Rockies. Another low is going to come out of that early during next week. Monday looks okay. A warm start to next week, except for places that have to deal with ocean winds. And then it looks like we'll have another storm system and cold front to deal with rain probably along about Wednesday, and then that moves out, and then yet another low will follow for the end of the week and into next weekend. So, weather systems taking tracks well to our west and north. There's no real cold air around. And I would say for those of you who are looking for one last round of winter weather, you may have to wait for the second half of the month of March. And in that case, everything would have to set up perfectly for something to happen. And for now, that's that's all. As always, you start to get deeper to the month of March. That becomes a longer and longer shot every day that goes by. So, Joe and Joe Weather Show's back Sunday night at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time. Enjoy this lovely Friday. And again, rainy gloom and doom for Saturday in the Northeast and Northern Mid-Atlantic states. Perhaps we'll see some improvement on Sunday.